Hey guys, so today we're going to go over setting the X, Y, Z, and G54 on the Haas VF0 mill. So if you can see right now, we've got an edge finder, but we want to select a face mill for setting our tool Z. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to MDI right here. Press it, and whenever I press it, the screen is going to change. And hit one more time, and here we go. We have our MDI page, and this will pull up a command screen, and this down here is where you can type in your tool. So I know that the tool is T for tool 1 right here on your number pad, and whenever I press ATC forward, the carriage is going to rotate. So watch it. And just like that. So now we've got our tool selected. So we're going to go to handle jog. We're going to go 10 thousandths, 0.01 per click. And here are your axes directions. X is across, Z is up and down, and Y is diagonal. So we want to go X. On your handle jog, you want to go positive, be negative, and that'll move your part over, and just eyeball it. Go in the X and Y direction until you're underneath your tool. That looks about okay, so we're going to go in the Z direction now. Z is right here. We're going to jog it down. And whenever you get to about 1/8 of an inch, stop and slow it down. That looks about good. We're close, but we're not that close, so we're going to go right here. This is where we were at. We were at 10 thousandths. We're going to go to 1 thousandths, 0.001. Grab your piece of paper, and we're going to slip it under and keep it moving and jog down in the Z just slowly. And whenever it catches, that's when you know when to stop. And keep it moving right about there. So now that the paper is caught, we're going to go to offset, which is right here in the middle. Whenever I press that, so the first thing that comes up is the work 0 offset page. Now we don't want this exactly, but we need to make sure that this column right here, this Z column, is cleared. So what I'm going to do is press 0 on the number pad, and that pulls it up right here. And if I hit F1, that's an input command, and it'll just override whatever I put in. So the 0 is going to appear right there, just like that. So now if I hit offset one more time, it'll bring me to my tool geometry page. So right now we're on tool 1, the length, if you can read that, geometry, tool 1. And we're going to go to tool, offset, measure. Whenever I press that, it's going to change. Well, it didn't change because we did this before. But if you heard the click, that means it'll change. So now what we're going to do is we're going to jog up. So this kind of helps you out. At the bottom, it'll tell you what you're doing. Jogging, Z-axis, handle 1 thousandths. So we're going to jog up just a little, just so you can grab your paper. We're going to speed it up to 10 thousandths like we were before. You guys know that. Jog it up. And now what we want to do is we're going to get our edges. And for that we need an edge finder. And I know that's in tool 11. So the same thing, MDI. We're going to go T 11. Same thing as before, pulls it up here. We're going to go forward, ATC forward. So now what we want to do is measure the tip of our edge finder with our calipers. And most edge finders are standard, but it's always good practice to double check just in case they've been worn down. So we just want to measure this small part right here and right there. And it's 200 thousandths, if you can see that, 0.2. So keep that number in your brain. And for an edge finder to work, it needs to be spinning. So what we're going to do is we're going to page down in MDI all the way to the bottom. Page down is right next to the cursor keys, right here. And we're going to type in S for spindle. We're going to go 500. M is the rotation, 0.3, and it's all right there. And it's okay that it's all in one line, doesn't need to be spaced out. The machine will do that. Hit enter, and it'll pull up on the screen. Right there. So S500, M03, that means it's going to spin at 500 in the clockwise direction. So to activate it, you want to make sure that single block is on. Make sure it's on right here. Right there it's on. It's right next to memory and across from MDI. So that and single block reads it one line at a time manually every time that you hit cycle start. So we're going to close the door and we're going to hit cycle start. And whenever I do that, it's going to start spinning. And it did. So we can open the door. And we want to get our origin on this corner, which means that we take our edge finder on these two sides, because that's where they meet up, is this corner. So similar to before, hand jog, 10 thousandths. We're going to go X right here. And just eyeball it until you can get kind of close. And don't be afraid to get in the machine and kind of move your body around so you can see it better. I like to squat down so I can see where the tip is. It's under the edge. Just jog it. Whenever you get close, just like before, we're going to slow it down to 1/1000th. And what you're looking for is the edge finder will center up and then it'll kick. So just go slow, jogging. So it's starting to center. I'll keep going. And it just kicked out, if you saw it. So you go back one. And then I like to stop the spindle, which is right here. You've got some commands. These overrides. And you hit stop. And it's going to stop the rotation. I like to do that because it can wear down on the edge finder. So now we're going to go back to offset like we did before. And we're on a tool offset. We don't want that. Hit it one more time. We're on a work 0 offset. So we're on the X side. So we're going to use our cursor keys to go over. And now we're going to go part 0 set. We're on the G54X, which is what we want. So we're going to go part 0 set right here under F4. Whenever I press that, it's going to change. And it did. But if you remember, what we need to do is go over half the distance of our tip of our tool, which was 200, so we go over 100 so that we're on the middle of the tool. We don't want to be on the edge, we want to be in the middle. So half of 200 is 100 in thousandths, so we go 0.1, 100 thousandths, and if I hit right enter, it'll add it to the G54. And it did. So now we're going to go in our Z direction, handle jog. You guys know that. You guys know where it is. We're just going to jog up so it's not below the face. And we're going to do the same thing for the Y, which was this face right here. Now we're going to go to this face. You got your X and your Y. So offset the, give it a little flick, my edge finder. And what you can do on these overrides is once you put in a speed and direction, you can just click one of these buttons again and it'll pick it up. It's got it memorized. So if I hit clockwise, CW, it'll spin. So I'm going to jog over to our Y. And same thing, don't be afraid to get inside the machine if you can't really tell where it is. It's okay to do this on an edge finder because it doesn't cut, but you don't want to do this whenever the machine is actually running with a cutting tool. It's not good practice. So the Y. Just go slow, it's the exact same thing. Wait for it to center up and then kick out. It's getting close. There, it just kicked out, so we go back one. And stop the spindle right here so it doesn't wear. And now it's the same thing but in the Y column. So we're going to go over one to the Y, highlight the Y, part 0 set. It's the exact same principle. It's going to change. We're going to go back over to it because it changed. The cursor changed. 0.1. Right enter. And it'll change to what we want. And it did, so that's exactly what we want. And we're going to jog up in the Z now. Z is right here. Clear the part. We can go a little bit faster to 10 thousandths. Close the door. And right here we've got home G28. And we need to be in this 0 return. And once I hit home, it'll send the machine up and the table over. It'll home all your axes. And that's it. That's how you guys set a X, Y, Z, and G54 on a Haas VF0 mill.